Hey true believers, happy Halloween. Today I wanted to go over a nice spooky figure. Today we're going over the NECA Trick or Treat Ultimate Sam. And I only thought it appropriate since Sam is supposed to be the guardian of Halloween and make sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing. If you want to pick this figure up, which I highly recommend, he is available at Big Bad Toy Store, or as I always say, please first and foremost check with your local comic shop and see if they have one in stock. As you can see here, this is essentially the DVD cover from the movie, and I like how with these you can pop it open and at least kind of see what you're getting in. So you get the product shot, you get the figure, and all these extra awesome accessories there. You see NECA Trick or Treat on the bottom, the top, nothing on the bottom. Go to the side, get a cool other movie shot of Sam there, Trick or Treat. On the back, you get all sorts of really cool product shots of them, same there. There's a read-up. I'll make sure to get a close-up so you can read it at your convenience. Come around here to the side, same thing on the other side. So that is the box. And I like it, looks fancy. It's kind of shiny, so it really kind of adds to the whole awesomeness. So with that said, let's get Sam out and get a closer look at him. And here's Sam out of the packaging, and I can see now why they call it an ultimate figure. This thing is freaking fantastic. All the way down to the sculpting, the the accessories. Oh, it's just like, yes, you get so many little goodies with this figure. There's maybe one or two gripes with the figure that I have, and we'll get into that in a minute. But overall, as you can see, he's beautifully well rendered, and I just love all these assortments that he comes with. So let's get Sam down and look at those accessories. Now, if you're not sure where Sam is from, he is from the 2007 anthology horror comedy film called Trick or Treat. It was written and directed by Michael Dougherty, and it's excellent. It's one of those few anthology films that really brings everything together, but that's because it's tied together with a common element, Sam, or Samhain. He was played by Quinn, and Sam is supposed to be this mysterious trick-or-treater dressed up in, as you see, the pajamas and a burlap sack, who appears to enforce the rules of Halloween. And Sam punishes those who ignore and defy them. The rules of Halloween include handing out candy to trick-or-treaters, wearing a costume, and never blowing out a jack-o'-lantern before midnight. So, with that said, I would highly recommend getting a copy of that film, or see if you can find it online somewhere to watch. Definitely worth it. So now let's check out the accessories that Sam comes with. The initial head sculpt that he comes with is the one that you see here, and we'll start with that one. And I like that even though it's stitched, it still kind of reminds me of Little Big World, that game for the PlayStation. I like how the stitching looks like a smile, and it actually looks like a burlap sack. The buttons on the eyes look great, the white stitching there. And I like that NECA really did not skip. Like you can see all the gradation all the way around, where some figures will do the front and then stop. So I'm glad that they did not do that with this figure. This one here looks great. The wrapping, the just ever so slightly drench of blood here on the shoulder of the mask. Very well done. I love the rope around the neck. Just adds that horror element. Now this piece here is attached to this, so it's all one piece when you disconnect this head. The same is true for, let me put him down. I prefer this open mask just because, you think Sam's happy, and then you kind of see what he does when people defy Halloween, and it's terrifying. I like that these rope tassels are loose, so just be careful when you're moving it around. And then, where you think there's supposed to be the mouth, you can kind of see where the disgusting head is actually revealed, and I like that it's drenched in shadow when you look at it this way, and how the stitching comes open to make it look like a faux smile. All the ripples, they did just one hell of a good job on these burlap sack ones. Now, with that said, speaking of the horrendous mouth, this is what Sam actually looks like. So when you look at this mouth up close, you can kind of see where the chin and the mouth are. I like that attention to detail. And I like that it looks like a rotten pumpkin. The white, or should I say the white, the black eyes just add that horrifying element to it. I mean, just look at all this detail. There's so much to talk about. Again, you see if you flip it around, it looks like a pumpkin, so I think that's a really cool idea. I like the detail to the eyes and the white irises. This head is essentially the same, except when he gets, I can't remember if it's shot or he gets hit with something. It's been a minute, but I love how they have all his guts coming out of this head, and you see the indentions. Love the red all the way around on the eyes, the nose, that grueling Chelsea Grin-esque smile. Just beautifully done head sculpts. And they're relatively easy to pop out. Just as I always say, please, first and foremost, warm up your figure and then, kind of gently move the figure about before you start doing stuff, because if not, then that's how a lot of figures get broken. So we'll show you a quick head swap. As everything goes everywhere. That's all right. So you just line that sucker up. And he's one of the few NECA figures that I had. I mean, it's a little loose on there, but that's okay. But as you can see, relatively easy head swap. And even though it's loose, you can kind of get, like he's pretending to care that you're agonizing in pain. So yeah, I love the head sculpts on this figure. The other things that Sam comes with is just a cool pumpkin. I kind of wish that they would have made this where it looked like it's supposed to illuminate, but the attention to detail on this thing, where there'd be actually holes in the pumpkin or the stem where it was pulled off the vine. You can kind of see how the cuts for the eyes and the mouth and whatnot are not perfect, as most jack-o'-lanterns are not. And I don't know, can you actually take that off? I don't think so. I thought there was an actual way to pop that off the way that was, but I guess that's just where it attaches. Sad day. But this one's a very well done pumpkin. The one that I absolutely adore is this one. Again, excellent sculpting work on the pumpkin itself. You can see all the blemishes and whatnot. Now you see this, and you're like, no way. It says battery. Oh yeah. So what you do is just take this and just ever so gently push it down, and we got a freaking flame. How cool is this? I've never seen any type of figure come with a light up accessory before. So to me, well, older toys, but you get what I mean in terms of accessories. I mean, look at that. That's relatively bright. And you just gently push down again. Now, just a heads up, it's just like any of the Halloween candles that you get, or the little mini candles. It comes with this little piece of clear plastic, if I can get it held correctly, that sits in this little slot. Just gently pull it out, and you are G to G. But yeah, love this pumpkin. Love that it illuminates. Just really adds to that extra dimension of posability and photography that you can do with him. And of course, Sam comes with his burlap sap, and I love that there's like blood stains on it. Again, looks like it's burlap, and it's soft material for the most part, so you can put it in his hand and have him drag it around. Just be careful so it doesn't snap up here at the base. Love all the different shades of brown on there. Just adds to make it look nice and weathered and worn. Now Sam does come with two open hands. He comes with this hand that's a little bit more open, and the hand that's a little more closed. We'll talk about that in a second. When I was talking about one thing that chaps my ass about Sam is his left hand has no accessories. Everything goes predominantly in his right hand. So you're just kind of stuck where you can't really dual put things in his hand. That was a very bad design choice. What if you want to put his knife in one hand and his lollipop? Because he comes with this cool bit lollipop. Very well done. Looks like a lollipop. Like that clear plastic on there. Like the little bit of red in the handle. And then of course his candy bar that I was just talking about. Nice and peeled back. Looks like a Snickers bar. And then of course on Halloween you always got to check your kids' candies because of stuff like this. But yeah, this knife, as I said, he has a more open hand and a more closed hand. The more open hand here, excuse me, fits the candy bar, and then the more closed hand, as Sam falls, fits the lollipop. So that's good stuff. The other hand that he does come with, and it's not one that you can really plug in, is when his arm gets ripped off, this thing actually goes back and reattaches, and there's no way to attach it that I saw. I was watching the review spot, and he was kind of saying if maybe you could push the tendrils in there, but it's hit or miss. And again, right hand. So I hate that this left hand just got completely ignored. That was just a really dumb idea on NECA's part. But I'll forgive it because all these accessories and whatnot just make the figure really cool, and of course all the different head swaps. So with that said, we've gone over all the heads. Let's talk about the paint apps on the body. Love these little stitches because it's supposed to be a pajama onesie. You got the butt flap where you go poop. But I like how there's light yellow over the orange, so it doesn't, so this whole orange doesn't dominate the whole thing. And as you can see, it looks like a type of onesie. And I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds kind of fabric-y. Love all the folds. I like those gloves, and of course the discolored hands and fingernails, very well detailed. Orange all the way through. And of course his little booties that are attached to it, you got a little bit of, I guess you'd call that a brown. So yeah, the paint apps, just very well done, and a lot to talk about here. As you can see, a lot of beautiful, well sculpted work on this figure. Now for the articulation, I wanted to leave this head on, because one thing that I will warn is when you put the burlap sack head on, you get hindered in terms of neck posability and arm posability, because this goes over the shoulders, and then of course the head is impaired, and of course the clearance for the arms is hindered by the way it sits on the shoulders. So that's why I didn't want to use this, but I wanted to give you a heads up in case you take it out of the packaging and you're like, why is he not bending like the way I saw? It's because of this shoulder piece that's part of the burlap sack. So again, that's why we're going to use one of his more demonic heads. So he can look down that far, about that much back. Now again, I know I just said it a moment ago, but before you do any of this, please first warm up your figures, especially NECA. I've heard too many horror stories of joints snapping. So even though I do all my figures warming up before I do anything with them, NECA I always make sure to pay extra attention to for that reason. Now what I like about Sam is he comes with the, I think it's a dumbbell joint on the neck there, which if I'm wrong, feel free to make fun of me down in the comments, but he also comes with this extra neck pivot like this, so you can get that extra range as you see there. Now, as I said, the head's loose. That kind of bugs me a little bit, but again, just the fact that you can put it on there and it stays pretty firm, and if you get creative, you can go, because of that neck joint too, you can kind of get that side to side really well. So it kind of makes it loose to do that, and that's one of the times I don't mind doing a 360 spin. Now, as I said, because of that burlap sack, the shoulders do get covered, so you wouldn't be able to do this with the burlap sack, or this, or this. So when you put that burlap sack mask on, just keep that in mind. He does have, sadly, single jointed elbows, but it is what it is. For the amount of detail and the accessories they gave us, I'll forgive it for that. Hands do spin 360. Hand can go up. Hand can go down. And he does pivot here, which I kind of wish that, same thing with the Freddy NECA figure that we went over, is I wish there was an upper bicep swivel so you can kind of get some more range, but at least you can do that. And you can kind of spin it there, but just be ever so mother-loving careful. Now, again, with NECA, one thing that I do not like compared to Legends and the Multiverse, no ab crunch, no waist pivot, particularly on Sam. I think Freddy had one, but it'd be nice to be able to kind of get them look like they're bending down to stab you, and so there's really no way around that, so damn it. And you can't really twist them. Tried, but it is what it is. Legs can go out about that far, to the side. And he does kind of have an upper thigh cut here, so it'd be more like a twist instead of a cut, but at least you have that option there. Leg can go up that much. Leg can go back that much. Now, Hasbro, take note. I'm able to get his leg that far back because this is loose plastic, not a hard butt piece. Butt piece. But yeah, because that's a loose plastic, I'm able to get his legs almost into splits that way. He does have single jointed knees. Again, I'll let it go because at least we get this nice range of motion that you're seeing. So you can be creative without being able to have everything. Foot does go down that much. Foot does go up that much. And he does have ankle pivots, surprisingly. So that is awesome. So minus some of the few obvious things that we've gotten used to with Hasbro and McFarlane, at least with this NECA figure, we get a nice, huge range for such a tiny little character. Now to put Sam up next to some really awesome figures. Here's the NECA Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors Ultimate Freddy. Here is the Sauron Build-A-Figure Wave X-Men Deadpool, and I've been loving playing with that figure. It has been a blast. And then here in the back is the McFarlane's DC Multiverse Armored Batman from The Dark Knight Returns. And as you can see, we kind of get an idea of scaling here where Batman is the tallest, Freddy probably about 6.5, Wade probably sitting about 6, and then old Sam down here probably about, what, 4 or 5 inches. Like I said, I don't like to get the tape measure out. Just too many people do that. I don't want to do it. So that's why I use different sizes that I kind of can eyeball. It's more fun that way because then it's like, guess their size. But nonetheless, you guys put these on a shelf, you kind of start playing with depth of field and whatnot and just kind of put them next to each other, you're going to have a great time getting them nice and displayed. For you photographers, you know, way we can kind of get some depth in there, it's going to look awesome when we get some up close shots of like Sam stabbing Freddy to death, or Wade, which he wouldn't carry. He's already stole his lollipop and his candy bar razor blade, so he's going to have a bad time here in a little bit. And then just this armored Batman, I can't wait to go over that one. It's beautifully sculpted. Love how the size of it is, and just another big Mr. Beefy figure. So let me know what you guys think of all 4 of these figures down in the comments below. I'm in love with all of them. This is an excellent figure. When it first came out, I saw it on the pegs, and I was just kind of like, But at the time, I was on the fence about NECA figures. Yes, they do have their problems, especially Freddy here, even though I love that figure as well. So make sure to check out that review. But Sam, my goodness, for a little dude, he is so versatile. I love all the articulation that you can do with him. When I first took him out, I was like, no, there is absolutely no way that he can be this bendy. But after warming him up, letting him cool down and moving him around, I was just like, holy crow, this is awesome. The only thing about Sam, the figure itself, that irks my Gurk is I hate that the left hand only has that kind of resting open hand. There's not a whole lot you can do with that. I mean, you get 2 hands for the right hand, and then you get that, you know, torn off one. But just having one resting hand, it really limits your options in terms of, you know, like you can't hold his candy bar knife and his lollipop together, or make it look like he's holding his knife and his bag. So you have to kind of get creative. The other thing, and this is just kind of with NECA in general, is I hate that they don't have an upper bicep swivel so that you can move their arms about, and that's just on the ones that I've reviewed thus far. So that's kind of a universal type thing. But other than the hand, I've not really found, well, other than, of course, you know, you can't really twist them at the waist or the ab crunch, but that's okay. I'll let those go because this is a very beautifully rendered piece, and I'm glad to have it for this Halloween so that I know that I am safe and I don't have to worry about getting a visit from him before midnight. So with that said, if you've enjoyed this action figure, please, first and foremost, support your local comic shop and see if they have one in stock. If not, then you can check out Big Bad Toy Store like we talked about at the beginning. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little pumpkin bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Photo slideshow coming up next, and I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.